The first visit I made to China was at the end of the 1980s, and it was to the city of Guangzhou, Canton, as it's sometimes known as the West. And actually, this was a fascinating time to see China because it was, in retrospect, when the economic reforms were really just opening the country up. Guangzhou in particular was one of the first areas, because it's very close to Hong Kong, that was opened up for the what were called the special economic terms, the idea that there would be low tax areas where the mainland Chinese government would encourage foreign money, Taiwan money, and Hong Kong money to come in and invest in the industrial infrastructure of those areas. And this meant that it was kind of buzzing and lively. At that point, we still didn't tend to associate China with industrial strength, industrial growth, all of the things that now have become quite mainstream in terms of our thought. So walking around this city and seeing not some kind of drab communist era city, but rather a tremendously lively place with small businesses, again, something that at that time was not really associated with China very clearly. Small businesses, people kind of wearing, their own clothes. Again, we had this often very cliched idea that everyone in China was wearing sort of blue Chairman Mao suits, both men and women, very unisex, and it was clearly not the case in Guangzhou at that time. People were kind of dressing stylishly, trying out their own style, their own kind of terms. Also a real enthusiasm amongst people to try out their English. People were learning English as a way in to try and get back into that international society, and the enthusiasm of an awful lot of people to come up to you and chat in that sort of way. I mean, that's something in a sense that's been lost. If you go to Beijing or Shanghai today, actually, I have to say foreigners are, ten a penny. I mean, you won't turn any heads by being foreign. Even just 15 years ago, a little longer than that, you would have found that being in a major city but being foreign was a real point of notice, of attraction. And that's one of the things that when I go back to China now, in a sense, you both miss and don't miss. On the one hand, it can be a little bit tiring being, asked the whole time, where are you from, and so forth. On the other hand, there was something still very wonderful about that moment of transition, feeling that you were in a society that had been closed to the Western world for a generation, really, and was now opening up and trying to have that conversation with the outside world. And now that China has moved into a more global phase, that's been lost to some extent.